Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be going through the solution to exercise 1.18 from the C programming language textbook by Brian Kernighan and Dennis Ritchie. Now, exercise 1.18 says to write a program to remove trailing blanks and tabs from each line of input and to delete entirely blank lines. So just to make sure we understand what this means, a trailing blank or a trailing tab is essentially blanks and tabs just before the new line character that doesn't really serve any purpose. So if we put in a line called hello, and then we put in 5 spaces, and then we put the new line character, those 5 spaces don't actually separate any words. So that's why we call them trailing, because they come at the end. But anyways, I've included this function called myGetLine, which we wrote in the solution to exercise 1.16. I'll leave a link to that video in the description, and I'll leave a pop-up on the side. So I'm going to write a function. First, I'm going to write the prototype of that function. It should return an integer, which will be the new line length after removing the trailing white space. And I'm going to call this function removeTrailing. And it's going to take in that character array, which is the line and the maximum line length. So let's implement this function. The first thing I'm going to do is declare and initialize an integer I to 0, and this integer I will essentially be an index into the line. So what I want to do is find where is the new line character in our line. So to find it, I need to search, and while the character I'm at is not the new line character, I want to increment I, but I want to also make sure I don't increment I past the limit. So I need to make sure that I is strictly less than the limit. And while this is true, I'm going to increment I. Now, if I did reach the limit, then what this means is we input a line that was longer than the line limit, and therefore the line has no new line character. So we put in a line of 2,000 characters, and the line limit was 1,000 characters. Only the first 1,000 characters would get copied in, and so that 2,000th character of a new line would not be read in. So if this is true, just return I, which is going to be essentially the length of the line. Now, if this was not true, I must be at the new line character. So I want to step back from I, so now I'm at the character just before I. And I want to keep stepping back while the character I'm at is a white space. So while the character I'm at is a space, or the character I'm at is a tab, I'm going to keep moving back. So I want to find the first non-trailing white space character. But I also need to make sure that I'm within the bounds of the line. So I don't want to step back too far. So I'll also make sure that I is strictly greater than or equal to 0. And while this is true, I'm just going to decrement I and just keep moving back. So what I want to do now is check if I actually found a character that was not a trailing blank. If that was true, then this while loop must have exited because must have exited because the character was not a space or a blank. So I must still be within the bounds of the array or of the line. Now, if this is true, then I is currently at a character that is not a new line, nor is it a tab. It is at an actual character, some letter or some number or whatever. So then we want to make the character just after that the new line. So I'm going to move the index along the line and then set that character to be the new line. And then I'm going to move that index once more, and then I'm going to terminate the new line using the null terminator. And after I've done all this, I should return I, which is essentially going to be the length or the new length of the line. Okay, now let's test this program. So I'm going to create a character array called line size max line, and this is essentially going to be the line, what we're going to store the line in. And I'm going to create an integer called length, which is going to be the length of that line we read. So I'm going to use my getLine to read in a line, but I'm going to set length equal to the value it returns. So while the length is this, I'm going to print out the length first of all. The length before removing is that much. And then I'm going to remove it, the white space. But when I do, I'm also going to store the new length and update it. And then I'm going to print out that string after I've removed the white space. And then I'm going to say the new length is now sorry, this should be length. Good thing I caught that. And that means I should also replace it here. Length. Okay. Let's try and compile this. Hopefully no errors. Nice. And then let's run it. I'm going to do hello, this is a test, and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. And here you see that before it was 26 characters, now it's 21, so 5 less. So we have successfully removed those 5 trailing white spaces. What if I do it once more? Hello, this is a test, but this time I'm going to do 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, then a tab, then a tab, then a tab. Let's see. So it was 6 white space characters, and the difference is now 6. Nice. So the program works fine. It removes the trailing blanks and tabs. And yeah, so that will be all for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.